Kim, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're like miles away again.
All right, hold on. What about now? Do I still sound miles away?
That's fair.
Because I have an NVIDIA graphics card, there's a thing that they have now called RTX Voice, and what it does is it utilizes your graphics card's GPU to eliminate any and all background noise, and apparently it classifies me as being background noise. So I'm right here next to the mic. I'm not moving. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Now I turn it on. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. You can tell the difference?
Yeah.
The second one sounds like I'm miles away.
Yeah.
Testing. Do I still sound like I'm a mile away?
Yes, you sound like you're half a mile away.
You're in a well. You need Lassie to come to save you.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. What makes us different? Well, we are not streamers or YouTubers, we just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keep Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 information, news and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email, twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com, or on Twitter @twotitans_hunter. Now on with the show. Hi diddly ho podcast people. This is the robot hunter that does have time to explain why he does not have time to explain. Robot Respawn. Joined by the two titans whose sweet business is just too sweet, and Iron Banner, British Dad, Nitedemon, and the facilitator, Peroty.
Thank you, Robot Respawn, for that lovely intro.
He always calls him Pearly.
Am I now the facilitator? Is that my new title officially?
You're the facilitator. I've had to go with British Dad. I hate it. And you probably love the facilitator.
Yeah. Why do you hate British Dad? We didn't even crown you with that name. Somebody else did, man.
I'm sure it was you two.
I mean, it's accurate.
We would never call you British Dad, especially when you're not here to defend yourself on that one podcast where you weren't here to defend yourself. Does not sound at all like something we would do.
Did you do it on the week that I wasn't here then?
No. Absolutely not.
We would never do such a thing. Don't know what you're talking about.
So I've been playing Iron Banner most of the week, just on and off, doing me bounties and things and having a bit of fun. Respawn even joined in with a bit of fun, even though I don't think he was having that much fun.
It wasn't too bad.
There was this quest that suddenly popped up when we logged on. Didn't pay any mind, just kind of got on with my day, playing Iron Banner on and off. And then log in, I think it must have been this morning. And it sounds like the event or the quest is, they've got a little bit of a fire lit under their bums, haven't they? They're now doing extra
increased Seraph throwing.
Oh, for the Seraph Tower, yeah. 5 times the progress. That
5 times and 10 times on weekends. So I'm guessing that we weren't going to get there. Not that I'm like one of these players that is just playing
we weren't
all the time.
No. Amcash
it was
and
like 100, like 188 days or
did
something.
The math. Yeah, they did the math. If we kept going at the percentages that we were going at, we were not going to make that timetable. Not even close.
yeah, 188 days to get there, and I don't remember how many days are left, but not that many.
I think at the time it was 27.
So, Peroty, do you want to tell us what this community quest is?
The one that I've worked very hard this week to completely ignore and not work for at all. So we're going to get it's for the Phil Winters Live shotgun, which was a very good shotgun in D1 that is, of course, making its return gloriously to D2. I guess it makes sense that it happens the week that Iron Banner's up, though has nothing to do with Iron Banner because reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first part of this quest is throwing lots and lots of balls at lots and lots of Seraph Towers and completing the Seraph Towers, which, as we just discussed, was not going to happen because part of the community, a large part of the community, I think, is just exhausted with the grind. We just finished a grind fest, and now here's a new grind fest. And at the rate things were going, it was going to take us about 4 seasons to get through the first season's worth of quest. And that was only, keep in mind, that was only the first part of the quest.
But we were going to get it before Destiny 3 comes out. That much is for sure.
Right. That's actually what unlocks Destiny 3. Once you do that, you get the completions, then Destiny 3 is available to you.
Yeah, see, Destiny.
So Bungie very quickly said, we're gonna give you a 5x multiplier all the time, and then a 10x multiplier for completions on weekends, and clarify that it's each Guardian completion. It's not like if you as a group complete an event that counts for 1. If you're in a fire team of 3 and you each complete the event, that gives you
15.
3 completions. And then they also did say, I think they also nerfed, they nerfed the champion, so they take a little less damage. And I think something with like that, like made the completions count more, because I saw people saying like where it would take you like six towers before, now you can do it in 5 or something like that. So I think they nerfed either nerfed or people are using the boop cannon to do it. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done any Seraph towers at all, but
no, I mean I have.
When did that happen? Because I was watching.
It's an Iron Banner week.
I was watching something. It was Astacross, I believe, that said that Bungie had just actually made the Seraph events more difficult, which is why he was especially about this whole grind fest, right? And now you're saying that they went back and made it easier. I understand that they gave it like ×5 completion or whatever, right? But I understood that they're actually more difficult to do. So did Bungie like patch that on the fly too to make it easier?
That's what I saw, and I'm trying to look for where I saw it now. I was trying to look at someone say, it basically, someone was saying, we kept failing at like 92%, and now we're able to get through that because it's like one less rotation around or something to get through these.
Oh.
And like I said, I don't have any hard data on that or anything, but just what I've seen. I basically played Destiny via Twitter this week and watched people's complaints and discussions and sort of got a general feeling of what was going on via that. And I'm going, I don't need to get on and throw balls at towers. I wasn't doing it before now, and why would I do it now?
Yeah, I mean, my thought was it's an Iron Banner week. I don't want to go and do that this week. I'll prioritize that next week. I'll join in with the fun, if there is any fun, next week in doing this, because I want to do my Iron Banner. I want to get my bounties done, get the high-powered gear, and just enjoy the game mode that I like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Bungie did say on May 13th. So 3 days ago, we made some adjustments. Champions have reduced power level, and event progression has been slightly tuned. Gotcha. So, quote, slightly tuned is what they're referring to, as well as the 5x multiplier and then 10x multiplier on the weekends. Although I'd like to bring something briefly up that Paul Tassi noted. Did you get the? I'm sure you're all signed up for the Bungie rewards, and you got the big Bungie email, Season of the Worthy, Rasputin full power. And he says, well, if Rasputin's at full power, why does he need 9 million more satellites from this?
He wants to watch us in action.
He does. He's lonely. So do we know what I'm sure it's been data mined and reported on what the rest of the quest is that I haven't looked at, because again, it was a seeming insurmountable uphill climb until Bungie said, no, never mind. We're gonna make this more surmountable, kind of like climbing the Fellwinter's Peak in D1.
Yeah, there was something leaked about Fellwinter's Peak, wasn't there? But I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to have a bunch of shotgun kills after this, and doesn't seem like a super long quest after this part, thankfully. But and as a result, I think I saw Abontis post like the quote latest progression. I think EDZ is done. The moon was at 33%, and IO is at like 8%. So the event should be over fairly quickly, probably 5 to 10 times quicker than it would have been before.
So if you are, be over. Is it the almighty title? So if you're looking to get that and complete that, maybe now's the best time to jump in and do Seraph events to get your. I'm sure there's it's a flawless triumph, isn't it? Where you don't get any enemies take over a tower.
Yeah, no, that's the one that a lot of people have been hunting, and some people have said, "Hey, it's really easy now," and some people have said, "I can't find other people to do it anymore."
No, I couldn't.
That's what I've been hearing. The second thing,
I couldn't find anybody at the beginning of the week anyway.
Yeah, so I'd say at least ignore the EDZ and either at least focus on the Moon or IO, because if EDZ's done, Moon or IO I assume is where people will at least be. But it seems like a weird matchmaking thing where just you show up and you're going, there have to be people here, and they're. It's not like there's nobody in the instance, but it's like there's just no one around. Half the time I'll start one up, and that seems to be, I don't know if it waits like towards an active event, but it seems like if I start one up midway through, I'll have 5 or 6 people there. So even though we may fail that one, hopefully, the next one we can start as a group, we'll have some success with. That's what I've been doing because, I just, every time I was zoning anywhere, even when I was looking, there just wasn't anyone active at all.
So if you haven't heard about The Lie, which is the new quest from Anna Bray, go over to Mars and speak to Anna Bray. And they remind you of this in the pop-up window for next week in Destiny. So have you heard about The Lie? So, yeah.
Cake is a lie.
Cake is a lie.
The cake has always been a lie.
The Drifter, he's around again, just for you, Blue.
All right,
to bring you extra infamy and Gambit all week long.
Joy and
And
happiness.
Clash and Lockdown come to the Crucible, so hold the zones, which makes no sense because Clash is Clash, and I'm guessing Lockdown is hold the zones. And no Flashpoint. They've done it deliberately again. They knew, they damn on you that I was picking Nessus.
So they spoiled it for you.
They spoiled it for me for 1 week, and now they've gone, haha, now guess. So I'm going to go with EDZ.
I thought we were all going to say Titan because we're convinced that Titan's going to get taken out of the game and destroyed.
Yeah.
So it has to have some glory while it can.
No, I think that's just Respawn wishful thinking. I think he's wishing that Titans get taken out of the game, not Titan.
No,
Tomato, potato, whatever.
I've seen some other people, since our talk last week, I've seen people theorizing, what they think, and I saw. I wish I could find that thread now. Someone's saying, we're fairly certain it's Titan because of this. Although it does have, there was part of the story, I guess, where we're supposed to rendezvous with Zavala and on Titan, but we can just move that. Zavala can go anywhere. It's fine. Just whatever they take out, there will be something that happened there in the storyline. But like we discussed last week, that's why you still hear Cade's voice. You still hear the echoes from the past and the recordings, and there's hand wavy story things they can do no matter what they take out to make it all work.
Yeah.
Wait, hand wavy sorty thingies?
Hand wavy story things.
Oh, okay.
Look at the
That
story.
makes way more sense. I'm so alone.
So this week at Bungie for the 14th of May. This year has gone so quickly. I know that we're in the middle of a global pandemic, but even just doing these podcasts they've just gone so fast. Each week comes up quicker and quicker, and it's just amazing that we're now in May.
So it's not February 249th?
It's not.
No.
What?
I feel like the 249th day of February. I don't know. Just time has both stopped and massively accelerated.
So yeah, you do have to give a shout out to all the hunters that didn't bother to show up for the Guardian games. Thank them for the win.
There we go.
For our massive statue that,
That statue. Oh, that's an embarrassment. Surely that's an embarrassment. That little tiny. I thought they were going to have a giant Titan statue, a gold one, just sitting in the tower.
like where the things were, and I saw that first day again. I played via Reddit and Twitter, and the number of screenshots I saw people being like, "So, found the statue. It was behind this other person."
Yeah, but that's right. If somebody's standing there, you don't see it. It's like, where's the statue? Did we do something? Was it even worth it? No.
It definitely wasn't.
Honestly speaking, if it was this gaudy giant statue that you were just discussing, I think no, that's not the right word. I know I would have uninstalled Destiny until that went away. Just that constant reminder of Bungie's love for Titans and hatred for everyone else.
So we've reached the final Iron Banner of the season, and that's going live this week. And if you haven't discovered the quest for the Lie, that's also this week. And if you haven't finished your bow quest for Point of the Stag, that's also this week.
I got mine. Finally.
I know you did.
You did, and so will the people.
Yeah.
So Bungie said they've seen feedback that the tower events are too difficult and that it's hard to wrangle up enough people to join the cause. So they've made some changes server-side to lower the difficulty of the event and help alleviate frustration and increase your success rate. So like we said, should help with your almighty title, should help with progression towards the Lie quest, which would be good. Apparently, they made an error when calculating how many completions were required. So yesterday, they introduced a bonus multiplier to help the community's progress and get you all on your way to your next step. You can read what the more details on what those changes were here, even though we went over those changes about 2 minutes ago.
We didn't.
Because I read from here.
I was thinking that maybe if they'd have started this at the beginning of the season, and if you'd have gone down in the Rasputin bunkers, you'd have seen kind of these numbers ticking away on the different planets, and only slight alterations on how many times it's been completed, so that it was not like a puzzle that we had like last season, but something that maybe over time it would be more revealed that what we're doing with the public events is then counting towards something that's ticking away in the bunkers that would then reveal something, say, this week, so that people would then go, oh, if we go and do more of these, we'll unlock something else that would then unlock with Anna. I think if they'd have done it that way, and it was something that we were doing throughout the season, but slowly, I think that would have been a bit more of a build up for the fact that people did do this at the beginning of the season. And now we're kind of having to come back to it. If they wanted that many completions done, let's say.
Right. Yeah. It's like this has been the whole seasonal activity. Why, for the first 2/3 of the season, not have any of those count? You know, you could have put that number in and just say, "Hey, starting at the beginning of the season, here's your seasonal goal," and even not even say it's part of a quest line, but just, hey, when this pops up, or hey, there's an indicator in the tower. Oh, when that indicator fills up, then we get the next part of the quest. And, not even tell us what that was. I think even if it being the Felwinter's Lie, and it not being related to that story, would at least been a story tie-in or an interesting way. Hey, Rasputin found a relic from times of old that he thought might help you. I don't know how a shotgun's going to help us kill the giant spaceship headed for us, but at least at least there's something there. At least there's some reason to do it, not just it's the elements are there, but like the story and the presentation need a little bit of work. And grindy event.
Being very generous with need a little bit of work.
Well, I mean. Hey, they put some fancy words in the TWAB this week, so someone's got their thesaurus out. So, they found that English major that they were throwing shoes at before, saying, no, don't do that. We don't have stories here. Shh.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was something like we see with the pyramid ships coming on Rasputin's map when we go down the bunkers now, that it could have been a gradual thing on like another monitor over the other side, that the community could have taken some time to try and figure out what this all meant. And if to say like they went away and did a completion on the EDZ and it pushed another cube across to on the EDZ part of that monitor, you could kind of slowly work out roughly what we're doing, and then you'd have like a Bontis working out how many completions it would take to do this to get that up to that point to then unlock something else. That would have been maybe a little bit more fun for the community to try and work out.
Yeah,
Do we have to have these types of community events, though? Right?
I mean, the story needs something, because honestly, you can play this game and not even know about the story or care about it because there's no real relation to it. Like, yes, there's a story happening, but nothing you're doing day to day feels like it has anything to do with it. Like, I've seen so many, like, Man-at-Arms understanding of lore posts he puts up on Twitter. It's like, my understanding of lore. It was like, there's a giant spaceship headed towards us. Let's have an Olympic event for 3 weeks. Let's go play track and field while this giant ship hurtles towards us in space. Okay.
I didn't think of it like that. Let's go play track and field while this giant death machine comes out.
Mm-hmm. So again, if you're going to tell me, yes, Destiny has a story, there's some good characters, but you can't tell me that there's like you can't tell me you're playing this game for the story. The lore, sure, but not the story.
You might be.
No, you're playing it to hoard things.
Oh, I am, yes. I need all the things. Respawn, you sound like you're like miles away again.
Stop trying to use your fancy NVIDIA nonsense.
Wasn't this time? No, you had mentioned that there was a beta noise suppression, which is right next to the hang up button, right? I just glanced over there and I saw it, and I was like, maybe this one will work. and I clicked it, and apparently it did the same. So it's not the software. There is something going on with my mic or my Discord. I gotta uninstall all of the things and try to reinstall, man.
Or you're just background noise. The computers have just decided that you are the background noise. Rasputin is going to rise up and just delete you as a person. You are the glitch in the system.
Well,
Nice
yeah,
knowing you.
he is
I am
replaceable.
the one.
So we got some interesting information in the TWAB this week, didn't we, guys? Regarding what's
Sure.
happening next season and going forward with weapons, power levels. It's quite exciting stuff.
I didn't get the excited feeling. I understand why they're doing it. Completely understand why they're doing it, right? They got to change the meta somehow, some way, without making stronger guns. Totally get it. But that also means they're going to take away my favorite guns that I like to use.
You'll be
So I
fine.
don't like
You'll
it.
be fine. We're going to set you up a therapy session. You're going to get over this, and you'll be fine.
But they're
I
going
know
to
I'll
give
be
you so
fine.
many more guns.
Yes.
Although I think I saw Danfinity point out that there's a big chunk of bows that go away in the game. Now, granted, they're going to more than likely bring you new bows, but there's a lot of legendary bows that'll age out sort of all at the same time. And, well, you'll need bows anyway because they're never getting a catalyst. Sorry.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
First of all, legendaries don't get a catalyst.
It doesn't matter. You're still never getting a catalyst on any bows. Can't be bothered.
Yeah. But no, what that does mean for me is that my favorite bow, the Arsenic Bite, is going to go the wayside. And that actually does affect me, like personally, because that bow with its half a second draw time and it's got freaking Rampage and Explosive Head, that's going to hurt to lose. That's going to hurt badly to lose.
Until they give you a new bow with Rampage and Explosive Head and a 0.4 second draw time.
That would be nice. I don't see it
There you go.
happening, though, but that would be nice.
So back in February, Luke spoke about Luke Smith, game director. Remember him from last week, Respawn? Spoke about upcoming plans for
You mean the
Legendary
writer?
Gear Infusion. Yeah, the writer guy.
Right, okay, gotcha.
The Destiny dev team has more details on how this system is going to work. Destiny dev team. Today we are going to talk about changes to the infusion system that are coming in Destiny 2. These changes are going to be visible starting in Season 11, which is in a couple of weeks, but won't start impacting your arsenal until Season 12, September. More on that in a bit. We want the sandbox to feel interesting, exciting, and dynamic, and to evolve into compelling ways over time in the same way that the game evolves. Our weapons are the primary way that players interact with the world, and season over season we want players to discover new weapons and feel powerful, have interesting new perks to explore, and power the builds that players craft in new and unexpected ways. The changes to the infusion system we're talking about today are designed to promote the following. We want you to more frequently earn and enjoy more powerful and standout gear. Right now, if a legendary weapon isn't better than the current best in class, there's no reason to replace it in your existing weapons. So, if a new legendary weapon is better than your current best in class, we risk power creep, removing challenge from the game, or making the items mandatory / the only option for challenging activities. Both above points apply equally to new mods and perks as well. Powerful weapons can be era-defining, but eventually those eras need to end so that new eras can begin. We want strong weapons to have their time in the sun, and whenever possible, we want you to expect and prepare for powerful gear to cycle out of the endgame meta. So again, like we've mentioned before, you can still use your weapons and your gear in Standard Crucible, and I'm guessing Gambit as well.
Not
an
Gambit
extent.
Prime, just regular Gambit.
Yeah. Well, you still have that. Your power against the enemy guardians still stands, doesn't it? If they're like 1,020 power and you're only 750, you're going to be melted. Yeah. Okay, and just Standard Crucible, you can still use those weapons. And I'm guessing comp, because comp would still be Standard Crucible, and maybe a bit of patrolling.
Yeah, with light level disabled in comp and things, doesn't really matter what weapon level you're running with.
No. So you could have a really good meta weapon from a couple of seasons back and still be using it.
Okay. Like I said, I totally get why they're doing this, but what about the weapons that you have to earn? right? What about not drops? If they nerf drops or whatever, okay, fine, whatever. But if there's a weapon that you had to earn, whether it be a pinnacle weapon or a ritual weapon or some other way that you've had to earn a weapon, if they take that and I'm going to call it a nerf because they're limiting how high it can go, right?
Yep.
So they're going to do that to it. Won't that make you feel a little bit cheated? To me, it's like, why would I want to grind out for this weapon that could take a season only for it next season to not be good anymore?
To be honest, I think it's only the players that haven't experienced Destiny 1 to its full extent are mainly saying this. And that's my opinion anyway. I'm just throwing it out there. Because if you're around from day one of Destiny 1, you've already experienced this. You know what Bungie are playing at. Because when we went from, I think it was year 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 or something like that, when you'd worked your ass off in the Vault of Glass and you'd got your Fatebringer, your Vision of Confluence, and all these other weapons from back when.
The full auto fusion that became obsolete.
Exactly.
Everybody's favorite one. What the hell's it called? Come on, man, help me out here. The auto rifle fusion rifle. No famous? No?
If you can't remember it.
You know what I'm talking about, though, man.
I didn't get drops out of there. The things I wanted were the ones I never got. I know there was a number of traded somethings.
Yeah, Pray This Timepiece. Things like that. So you worked your ass off. In a raid, you got the armor, you got the weapons, and then it all just went away because they suddenly went, right, from here on out, you won't be able to progress those items any further.
Vex Mythoclast. That one.
That was an exotic that they did. You're allowed to infuse and get that higher.
Eventually. But it was irrelevant for a while there.
No, but he means going forward, your exotics you can bring forward in the current game. Yeah. So if the same thing were happening in D1, you could bring that one forward continually, which would have been great because I could have blown through ammo like that in a sweet business and made fantastic sounds while shooting it.
But yeah, if you've been in Destiny 1, you've already experienced this from Bungie, that there was certain weapons that you did work to get that weren't able to be brought back again until you went into the raids in year 3 and you were able to get them as exotic drops. And did they bring them back powerful then? I think they maybe not did. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I feel like they bumped the light level at some point, but I don't remember either. Because I know they revamped the raids to bring them up above whatever 200, 300, whatever light level we were at the time when they came out. But I don't remember.
That was towards the end of D1.
Right. It
was like the golden years or the golden.
Yeah, it was sort of when that time when they gave us mayhem strikes and everything else, and just said, okay, this game is coming to an end. Let's have the closeout sale. Let's blow everything out.
Basically,
it's funny because I forget sometimes the D1 is still a thing. I could put my disc back on the Xbox and still go play it and revisit my old characters. I forget that it's out there, living on a server, taking up space somewhere.
Yeah. So this is basically what they did. So in year 1 of Destiny 1, you had elemental damage on your primaries. So the Fatebringer, which was a hand cannon, which was a legendary hand cannon that you could get from the raid, had an arc ability affinity with it. So what they did is they capped all the weapons at 170, and that included some of the exotics, like Respawn was saying, including Suros. I've just had a quick look on my Destiny Item Manager for Destiny 1, and Suros was capped at 170. I've still got it. Yes, I'm not letting it go. And I've got an original Fatebringer at 170. And then they did bring it back, but they took off the Infinity for it. So I think that was what a lot of people missed. But you could get a legendary version of it without the Infinity. And you could also then get an exotic version with the Affinity for it. So you could give up your exotic slot. So that's how they kind of got around it. But then that was year 3, towards the end of year 3, when they brought the raids back. And that's how they worked around it. For a good portion of the time, people weren't able to use elemental primaries in raids and end game kind of meta, that you were able to use them for quite some time. And Bungie got around it that way, and they're going to do it again now in Destiny 2. We're going to see some of these weapons that we've earned through quests, ritual weapons, or whatever else they're called these days.
Pinnacle, ritual,
Yeah,
all
those
that
things.
stuff. Yep.
They're bound to go away. And
then you're going to cry. Potentially uninstall Destiny.
Nobody's going to cry.
Well, I'm going to cry.
I mean, they're making the game. They've said they want to make the game more of an RPG. In a level 1 RPG, you're not running that same weapon you had on level 50. You're going to throw that weapon away and get better and newer weapons as time goes on. And that's, if they actually are going to make Destiny into more of an RPG, that's the direction we're going.
Yeah. And they said that they can't solve this by just making weapons that are always better than the previous ones, because this will steadily lower the time to kill in both PvP and PvE until the combat sandbox is neither fun nor tactical, which admittedly in some times it's like that because you're kind of stuck with the same guns that everybody's holding on to. So they want to foster a gradual evolution of metas that regularly promotes experimentation and debate. We believe Destiny is at its best when you have new desirable things to pursue. You have active debates with your clanmates on which one of those new things to bring out into the raid or what's going to be hot in trials next season. With this goal stated, they want to break down how the changes will work. So each legendary weapon and piece of armor will have a max power level it can be reached through infusion. So at the moment, if you hover over the infusion thing, it just says whatever the current max is for that season, or whatever power level you can get from what you can infuse into it. So exotics will not have a max power level. The max power for these items will be set at the player power cap attainable 3 seasons after its release. So 4 seasons in total. This means all legendary gear has a 1-year lifespan, during which it can be used in activities which will be near or towards the end of the player's power cap, which is difficult and power-enabled activities kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the max power level for these items will be visible in-game from next season, so that's June 9th, Season 11, but no items will be at their max power level at the start of Season 11. This means that all your gear will be relevant in all activities during Season 11, and you'll be able to see what the max power level is for your gear and plan accordingly. At the start of Season 12, weapons and armor released in Seasons 1 to 8 will have a max power level at the end of Season 11 player power cap. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that's from the beginning of Destiny 2, way back in 2017, through Season of Undying. Because that's Season of Undying is Season 8.
Okay. So gear from Seasons 9, 10, and 11, and 12 will all be infusible to new player power caps for 1 year after their release. So it's just going to kind of be staggered. So whichever one is Season 9 will then be a year on from that. So it'll be less than 10, and so on and so forth. Weapons and armor from the Last Wish raid and the Garden of Salvation raids will be granted exceptions. So Respawn, you keep doing all these raids and getting all this nice high power gear. This will still have a high power max level.
Gotcha. For a year.
No. They've made an exception.
They've made an exception. Yeah, I know. I heard.
So those are the basics, but you may have additional questions such as, can I still use gear that has reached a max power level? Yes, you will always be able to equip and use any piece of gear. Reaching the player power cap is beneficial but not strictly required for most activities in Destiny. You can continue to equip and use all gear in these activities.
This applies to armor as well as weapons?
Yes, all legendary gear that provides power will have a max power level. Starting in Season 12, armor will no longer have a seasonal rotating 4th mod slot. Instead, there will be a mod slot that accepts all mods introduced into the game throughout the full year. Okay, now this is where we're getting into the full year thing. So, yes, you may have picked something up in Undying, and it would now be able to have mods up to a year, but then they're still going to be able to manage to rotate those items out on the gear. Ah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I also hear that my favorite pieces of armor that I've had to work to masterwork, get all those stupid materials to masterwork, that one set of armor that I have that I really enjoy is going to get sunset in a year. And you got to redo that whole grind every year, man.
No, that's a year. But that's a year. You don't have to. You won't have to worry for a
an
whole year.
RPG. That's what an RPG is.
But by then, you'll have load more infusion material. You'll have maybe
I
new
don't.
armor that you've picked. You'll have loads of.
And you'll be able to transmogrify the armor you like the look of into the current armor that you have.
I'm not
so
worried
it'll
about the
still look
looks.
just like
I'm
this.
worried about the stats and the masterworking materials that I've had to invest.
Yes,
That's
but
my
you may
concern.
find something in the next couple of months that is a few stats better and can take all the mods that are now available from that season going back and, have a lot more materials to masterwork. So it is a kind of good thing that they're doing it. You don't want to be stuck with the same armor.
Think of all the materials you'll have when you lay waste to your vault and just set it on fire and walk away because you will have broken down everything sitting in there you don't need anymore. There's your materials.
Yeah, but I do that with my armor anyway because I get the one set and I like it. What you're telling me is now I have to stockpile armor and all this other crap because I don't know when it's going to change.
No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you to continue to use the same piece of armor you have.
Oh, fair enough.
So they recognise the current need to replace your armor every 2 to 3 seasons is a pain in the bum, and hoarding the armor from past seasons, like I do, is undesirable. Yes, it is, because you don't really want to hoard it because you just want an armor set that's going to work for a good couple of seasons, and then maybe later on when the vault expands with that year, you can get more stuff. Maybe then keep them bits, maybe, just maybe. No. And as Peroty said, transmogrification is a thing that we talked about last week. And Respawn did give us a nice little breakdown of what actually transmogrification is when he remembered it. Do you remember it again this week? For those people that weren't here?
Yes, transmogrification isn't like the mods that we have now that changed. So like transmogrification is you take a physical item and you change that item into a mod. Therefore, you lose the original item, but now you can make something else look like the item that you just lost.
And it keeps all the stats of the item that you currently want to keep, but it makes it look nicer. No?
Oh, yeah. No, the transmog item is gone. You don't keep those stats. Correct, yes.
But say you've got it on your really nice, gear that you've got at the moment that you've masterworked, and there's something else that comes into the game that looks fantastic, this whole new armor set.
I could take that new armor and transmog it on my current armor.
Okay, so it looks like the new armor, but you still retain the stats of the armor that you're currently wearing, which is what you want to keep at the moment.
That is 100% correct.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So when gear drops after its debut season, what will its max power level be? It will be the same max power level as it did in the initial release. Note, this is different than the gear that is reissued. See next question. Will gear ever have its max power level updated? Not directly, but gear can be reissued in future seasons. These reissued versions will have new max power level bases on the seasons in which they were reissued. They're going to experiment with how and when gear is reissued into the game throughout year 4. So that's September going forward. And let us know what you think of the different methods as you experience them. So not before you experience them, Respawn, after you've experienced. There's an experience word in there. You have to experience it before you have the feedback, okay? I'm watching you. I'm listening.
They're basically doing what they're doing with Iron Banner. Is you have an Iron Banner set, it goes away, then it comes back, then it goes away, and it comes back.
So we're sure that Respawn will have more questions that aren't covered above, so please let us know, Respawn. Directly speaking to you in this week's TWAB.
Yes, I know. By name, yeah.
I mean, they say it in the TWAB, but they are committed to Destiny 2 continues to grow and evolve from years to come. And part of that continued evolution is the curation of interesting, exciting, and dynamic player sandbox, which is true. There has never been, apart from when we had Destiny 1, where we had like stale seasons, they've always tried to do something different each season. And yes, maybe it hasn't kind of stuck and it hasn't worked, but they've always tried to innovate and try and do something different. Even with this season, even with this Lie quest that they've put out there, it's something different that we haven't had before. It may be similar to some other things, but it is something different. And the same with the Seraph Towers, slightly changed of these public events. So there is something that they are continuing to do over time. The introduction of the max power level will allow them to create exciting new gear more frequently without significant concerns of permanent power creep, which is unsustainable in the game, which is what they've said for at least the last year. When Shadowkeep was announced and we had the big talk with Luke Smith and the other developers, they're saying, power creep was one thing that they wanted to kind of address. They were going to let us know how they were going to do it. They tried slightly tweaking things. They did tell us they were going to sunset some things, but now they've explained exactly what they're going to do. So this is good. This should also open up creative and experimental builds season over season, whilst letting you anticipate and prepare for how the sandbox will change over time. And yes, please share your thoughts with them.
So I guess it's time to talk about engrams, redacted engrams.
Oh, what are redacted engrams, Peroty?
I don't know. Looks like they're pretty redacted, so I think we should just move on.
I am in agreement.
So apparently, Bungie has some additional plans after the Titans' glorious victory in the track and field events, while the giant spaceship hurtles towards us. And creative lead Robbie Stevens is going to have some more details. So he says, "Hey everyone, we're now trying something new with how and why you earn seasonal rewards. So far, basically every season has followed the same formula where a seasonal activity asks for a specific amount of playtime to earn new rewards. While we believe that new content should be one of the best places to earn new rewards, we also realize Destiny 2 is a big game, and it can be frustrating to have more of your playtime dictated towards solely focusing on seasonal activities. So in Season 11, seasonal rewards will drop from completing core activities, Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit, as well as basically everything else in the game, and they have a full list of things below they'll tell us about. We want to make engaging the entire game feel more rewarding versus having to go play one thing over and over and over again until you're blue in the face and don't want to do it anymore. Look at you, Filmwinter's Light Quest."
Just a quick question. Do you think this is going to help them maybe answer the question of what's got to go away, Gambit and Gambit Prime? If they say you can do anything in the game, they'll actually see where people like to spend their time, rather than forcing people to spend
Can't
their
they
time
already do that? Oh.
No, because at the moment,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That part's the important one, yeah. We're not being incentivized to go do this thing this season. If you just say, go play the game, let's see what people do, and maybe some of the, saying, hey, Gambit versus Gambit Prime, or hey, this thing in Strikes, that thing in Crucible people have been asking for, let's elevate those things now that we're not trying to focus on the new thing we're trying to build. We're actually trying to do some quality of life and game improvements. That's my hope.
Yeah, I think
agree with you.
if they see that people aren't playing, say, Gambit Prime over Gambit, maybe they could throw questions out of, okay, we've seen the feedback or we've seen the players playing this amount of Gambit compared to Gambit Prime. What are the reasons why? And get some feedback on that, so to help them make their decisions a bit more clearer for what they're actually going to do in the game. So imagine if you see people just playing Nightfalls over and over again and not doing the strike rotations. They'll ask the question of, well, what could we do to make these strike rotations better? Which is what I'm hoping is going to happen.
Strike scoring.
Yeah, but even if you get strike
We
scoring,
already have strike scoring, don't we?
What's the point of the strike scoring?
Right.
Because in Destiny 1, if you had the strike scoring, it just helped you get a better chance, wasn't it, at the rewards from the chest at the end? You got a higher chance if you got a higher score. Was that? I can't remember now.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like there were, I don't know, there was something tied to it. But yeah, just having a reason to play Strikes. Because every season I look at the go play this number of strikes, I'm going, no. It's not. I don't even think that they're bad strikes. It's just I've played them all.
They're not bad. They're just boring.
Don't find the strikes. Yeah, I basically put a podcast on and just go grind through some strikes because I don't have to think about it. They're not hard. They're not challenging. They're not interesting. It's just a part of the game I dread playing.
But you don't mind playing it when it's just like three of us just having fun going through the strikes, just chatting.
See, no. You're incorporating two different things, Damon. You're incorporating hanging out with friends to how good the game is, right?
Yeah.
No, but I think that's what makes the game some of the times, isn't it? It's
that's absolutely what makes the game. Yeah, whenever I'm with you guys hanging out in Iron Banner, I'm hating Iron Banner, but I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys.
Exactly.
That's absolutely the experience.
That's Destiny. That is Destiny at its core for me. as a player, I can put the game on, I can do my grindy bits, and just have fun just playing by myself. But it's more fun playing with my friends and just shooting the breeze and just going into strikes and messing up over and over again, going into nightfalls, trying to do the harder nightfalls, trying to do master this, master that. It's just
feeling of that for hours and hours.
Yeah, that's Destiny. That is Destiny. Just sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
It's for friends.
Yeah, no, I mean, as long as you have that kind of stuff, that I'm in complete agreement. Playing with friends is always better than playing by yourself. Even bad content becomes less bad at that point, I mean, just going back to what you said, playing strikes, right? Just something as simple as playing strikes. I enjoyed going in with a bow to show a lot of the newer guys that I was playing with, hey, this is how good bows are. And they're like, oh, well, they're not really good. But at the end of the strike, I've got quadruple everybody else's score, right? I was like, you were saying?
Yeah, that's because you've tagged everybody with that bow. That's all.
So you're saying that I can tag people with a weapon that I have to draw and fire faster than somebody that's got an auto rifle that can tag everyone in the room at once?
No, you can fire your bow quicker and tag, say, about 3 different enemies, depending on what bow you're using. Le Monarch being a good one. They could come in and maybe 2 of them get a separate kill each, but they only count as 1 for each of them, whereas you've then got 3 kills to their 1.
Exactly, because the bow just
But you didn't actually get the kill.
No, I get kills because, especially with the red ads, 1 bow shot is all it takes. Boom, done. Boom, done.
Yes.
Boom, done. Boom, done. Boom, done. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry, Clary.
Season 11's also going to feature 2 new returning weapons from each of the previous 3 seasons. So Season of the Undying, Season of Dawn, and Season of the Worthy, for a total of 6 weapons, which will be free to everyone. So if you didn't buy the Season Pass or a new light player, they're bringing back 2 weapons from each of those seasons. Which 2? Go debate it on Reddit. We don't know. They're not going to tell us. You'll figure it out. We talked about some of the places where you're going to earn rewards in Season 11. Now let's talk about how you can influence those rewards to chase god rolls and high stat armor. Play Iron Banner. Moving on. No. So over the last few seasons, we've introduced the weapon bounties that give you the agency to chase specific rewards. While addressing bounty fatigue will be an effort that extends beyond year 3. For the upcoming season, we've moved away from weapon bounties as part of that effort. Thank you. Instead, we're reducing. We're not reducing. Well, they are reducing, but instead they're introducing a new type of redacted engram that'll contain the majority of Season 11 rewards. And by spending seasonal currency, you can influence the contents of the redacted engram. So to clear up any confusion, because we're all confused, let's imagine if we launch the redacted engram in Season of the Worthy. Imagine this engram containing the Season of the Worthy weapons and armor. Now imagine you can take this engram to a Seraph bunker and spend your seasonal currency to focus, capital letters, to focus the contents of the engram so it only contains the SMG or the shotgun. By focusing redacted engrams in Season 11, you can choose your rewards. This includes the ability, once you've earned it, to focus engrams so they only contain the armor with the high stat rolls. That sounds great. All free players and Season Pass owners will receive redacted engrams while playing Season 11. However, only Season Pass owners can access the full suite of focusing categories in Season 11. So it sounds like you're going to get a number of things. We'll all have the same loot that we can get, but we can, as Season Pass owners, tell it what kind of loot we want versus just here's a giant loot pool. You get what you get.
So just clear this up for me. Am I then taking my engram to a vendor just to see if I can get a specific role? So say if I want to go see Hawthorne, she'll give me a specific role on a weapon or armor piece, which is different to, say, the Drifter, which is different to, say, Anna Bray and Failsafe and anybody else. So do you think they'll do it like that? Is that what I'm getting from this? Because I don't believe the bunkers are still going to be there.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not the bunker. They're just saying, like, this has come out in Season 11. This is sort of might be how it would work. So,
okay.
So I don't know if that means in Season 12, Season of the Redacted Engram, that we're going to go to the new thing and go
Season
talk
11.
to the new person. I'm sorry, yes, Season 11. I keep seeing 11 thinking the future. So yeah, so in Season 11, I assume it's whatever the new redacted thing is going to be. We go to Captain Redacted, bring our redacted engram, and then it'll work from there. Whereas that's what I'm reading is this is only going to work in that new vendor and only for that new season's items. You can't bring them to the Drifter or Failsafe or over. It has to go to that new vendor for just that season's item. So yeah, so like like they were saying, for season 11, our current one. I'm sorry.
You have to take it to Failsafe for season 10. You have to take it to Failsafe. Not Failsafe. You have to take it to Rasputin in the bunker.
There you go.
I was thinking robots, bunkers.
What's another robot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what they're saying is that for this season, you take it. You can only take it to the bunker or bunkers. Yeah. So in in the next season, it'll be you take it to the new seasonal place, talk to the new seasonal person, Cade's glorious return. You'll never see it coming, and then you talk to Cade, and then he will give you the reward from that. And then once you've focused it, however we unlock the focusing, which I assume is make your way through the season pass or unlock something, then you can then break down of, hey, here's the rewards I actually want. Here's what I want to grind for. Or at least you can go through and say, okay, let me go through shotgun to then SMGs and then auto rifle. Let me sort of go through these one at a time to get the role I want out of this.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
I understand that now. Thank you.
Very good. So here's a preview of the redacted engram focusing categories that all players can access after completing the Season 11 opening quest. So the armor focusing reduces the number of rewards in the engram so it only contains Season 11 armor. And the previous season's weapon focusing converts the reward to an engram that only contains the 6 weapons that are returning from the previous 6 seasons. Okay, so it'll be 2 groups. It'll be you can focus on just the armor for the current the current season at the time, or you can say, hey, you can focus it on here are the 6 weapons, or I assume other ways to focus it, but those are at least 2 examples of focusing of. So basically, it's taking the loot pool down. So when we say focusing, we're saying instead of here's every loot thing they could drop, we're reducing that loot pool in specific ways. All right. So when Season 11 launches, all players will get 3 focusing categories, and Season Pass owners will have access to an additional 15. Woo! So the list of activities that reward redacted engrams in Season 11 is redacted, public events, strikes, gambit, crucible, dungeons, raids, adventures, nightmare hunts, forges, reckoning, menagerie, escalation protocol, and blind well. And in addition to the above list, redacted engrams have a chance to drop when defeating combatants anywhere in the system, similar to the legendary engrams. They share the same loot pool as legendary engrams, and when you hit that loot pool, you have a 66% chance to earn a redacted engram and a 34% chance to earn legendary engrams. This preview of Season 11 gives you some insights about how we're approaching the community's feedback in the short term. So I'm looking through. Okay, so yeah. So reckoning is still on the table. Gambit, I assume when they say Gambit, it's the Gambits on this list. I was trying to look at this and say, is there anything on the table that's not covered by this? Anything on Titan, perchance? Or
surprising that Blind Well's in there as well.
Yeah. They're going to claim that the Dreaming City is a viable thing forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then so whatever are 2 redacted. Yeah. So I wonder if it's going to be like a new location, like the bunkers and the Seraph Towers. Is it 2 new location and a new activity? Is it 2 new activities? So there's 2 redacted things coming next season. So I both feel like I have a better understanding and worse understanding of how exactly this is going to work, but I know, like everything, once it's out there, it'll make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, especially since everything is redacted.
Yeah.
And it's only redacted because it's either giving away what happens at the end of the season, or it's just giving away the title for the new season that's coming.
Right. If it's like, hey, go to Titan where all money smashed into, and gave you the kind of gave you the end of it here.
You go to the devastated EDZ. What? Go where?
Yeah.
First of all, none of that has been confirmed.
Where are you now? Have you gone to the toilet?
Don't come back out of the well. Timmy, my name is Timmy. I'm stuck on this well. Come out of the well, little Timmy. We'll send Lassie. Lassie got help.
I think Timmy's drowned down the well.
If you, like Respawn, are trapped down a well somewhere,
is it better?
Then the Guardians
Worse, better. It's better.
It's better.
Huh?
Yes,
Okay.
better.
I figured out why my mic was always on. I fixed that.
You have,
did.
yes.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
If you also are trapped in a well, I will let Nitedemon tell you all about the Guardian's Heart charity and the lovely emblem you can have to put on an iron banner while you murder people with your sweet business.
Kind of.
Well, you can't get it anymore because that was last week, wasn't it? It finished. So earlier this week, they
Ooh.
wrapped up the Guardian's Heart charity incentive that'd been going strong for the last month, and they'd asked us to help to support direct relief in efforts to deliver supplies to hospitals and healthcare workers around the world. Guardians everywhere answered the call in full force, and together we raised
$788,923.19.
Okay, so you smashed the goal of.
Yes, 700,000.
So they'd like to thank everybody that donated and everybody who volunteered their time to help spread the word by streaming in one of the 39 Bungie bounties that they put on during the event. It's been inspiring to watch this community come together once again to make the world a little better place during tough times. Respawn, you have something important to tell everybody, don't you, from when you donated? What did you notice?
That hunters had donated the most.
So, round of applause for the hunters, yes?
Good thing.
At the time that I donated, the hunters had donated the most amount of cash at that point. Yes.
So yeah, when you went to donate your money and you purchase it, you could then select, whether you're a Titan, Hunter, or Warlock.
That's
And
correct.
I think the first week the hunters were way out in front, and I thought, this is going to be a change to Guardian games. At least they're winning something, and it sounds like they did. They won the hearts of the rest of the Guardians around the world.
They did. So we figured it out. So the hunters, instead of playing the game, were out spending money on good charity events, because us lowly poor Titans only donated $183,000. I'm rounding all of these. $183,000. The Warlocks did a little bit better at $206,000, and then the hunters are out there $301,000. So good job, hunters. You may not be good at Guardian games, but you're good at charity work. So I appreciate it. Everybody appreciates it. And yeah, we as a community, $750,000 in a month. It just blows my mind every time Bungie does one of these, just people's generosity. So well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Even you hunters, especially you hunters. That's a lot of out scavenging in the wastelands. I don't know where you keep all the money. I've never seen pockets in your cloaks, but good job.
First of all, we don't keep them there. We just transmit them to the ramen shop. That's why the ramen shop is closed. It's actually our bank.
There's always money in the ramen shop.
Always.
So, Peroty,
always
would you
money
like
in
to
the
tell
ramen
us what's been fixed, what's not been fixed, and if there's a hot fix with your Peroty's patch note previews? Peroty's delivers the best part of the TWAB.
I will facilitate this part as the facilitator of the player support report for hotfix 2.8.1.2.
Oh my goodness.
So on Tuesday, May 19th, which is 3 days from now, and hopefully right after you listen to this recording, hotfix 2.8.1.2 will be available to all the players. It'll be out at 9 a.m. PDT, 1600 UTC. The maintenance begins. 45 minutes later, everybody gets kicked offline. 15 minutes after that, the rollout begins of the hotfix, and at 10:01 a.m. PDT, players will be able to log back in, and that's 1701 UTC for you, Nitedemon. At 12 noon PDT, 1900 UTC, Destiny 2 service maintenance concludes, and I'm not giving you all the time zones because I'm lazy this week, and you know about what it is in your local time zone at this point.
It's about an hour before reset, basically.
It is. So what is 2.8.1.2 going to bring us? Well, the seasonal small fire team XP buffs will now work as intended. Removing the Winter's Guile gauntlets will now properly remove all Warlock Sigil perks. And for 1 week only, for a limited time, the Worm God Caress gauntlets will no longer grant infinite 5-time Burning Fist when repeatedly taken on and off.
Yes, they will.
Up until they're broken again.
Pairing it with the Telestos.
Yeah, precisely. And they also, on Friday, May 8th, Bungie did release a potential fix that was implemented for the frequent Watercress error codes. Since the 8th, they've been closely monitoring Watercress reports and have noticed a significant decrease in Watercress errors appearing. Watercress. So they're hopeful that this is, fixed at least the most of the Watercress issues. If you're still having problems, hit the help forum. They have a dedicated Watercress forum. They are continuing to monitor They're continuing to monitor the increases in beetles, rabbits, beavers, and anteater error codes, which is a wonderful zoo they have going over there. So again, if you're seeing these error codes and can maybe try to, help provide some clips and footage to them, go to the help forums. They are actively trying to squash these bugs, and the more reports and information they can get from people, the better. And yeah. Apparently, we have a small Guardian Heart update. The initiative ended on May 12th, and any donations made after 10 a.m. PST on May 12th are not eligible for the emblem. So if you gave your money late, sorry, you had a month. But Bungie does say if you did donate after that point, send them a note to the Bungie Foundation with your donation receipt, order number, and date of donation for assistance, and they will try to get you an emblem, even though you had an entire month.
Oof. Yeah, but at the end of the day, just let it go, guys. You gave to a really good charity and a really good cause. It doesn't matter. We all know in your hearts, if you donated, you've got the Guardian Heart emblem. It's not going to persist past Destiny 2. So when we get to Destiny 3, everyone will forget about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so some of you have probably already forgotten about it. But what you can't forget about are our current known issues. Where the Ascendant Champion Triumph is just not unlocking for some players. Just like the enhanced fusion rifle loader, enhanced auto rifle loader, and enhanced bow loader mods are not dropping as intended. And the clenched fist perk for the Stronghold Gauntlet is not working as intended. And there's a full list of things in the note articles, which we'll link to, because it just grows and grows and grows. And that's been our report for this week. No. That's been our TWAB for this week.
No.
We have marched through the TWAB.
So they say that they hope that you enjoyed the little preview they gave you of the new redacted engrams coming next season. And next week, they're going to share more changes coming to how you earn rewards in Season 11. Some of you know what a world loophole is. Many of you have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't worry. They'll talk about it next week. Kind of, sort of understand a little bit. That's about it. So yeah. That was Cosmo, by the way. He's signing out from that one.
Cosmo.
Very good.
Speaking of Cosmo.
Yeah. What does Cosmo have to tell us this week? What little sweet nothings has he whispered out into the social mediums?
Is there anything for their Respawn's report roundup?
Yes, Cosmo said most feedback is not entirely a new thing. And probably something we have seen in one form or another before, but the community manager still read it and will share it wider. That's a Reddit link. A reliable guitar error trigger in Gambit has been found. I love how they say a reliable. Hey guys, if you want to practice, here's how you do it. Anyway,
or here's how not to do it.
Well, I'm looking. And in the info has been sent over to be investigated. Here's a Reddit link, and it says nothing. There's nothing in this comment. Like, hold on. Oh, there it is.
Don't go in if you have a Black Armory frame on the stage where you need to pick up Radiant Seeds. They'll spawn on the enemy sides as well as you, and you'll quickly hit the cap and crash out of the session with a guitar error.
All right. Making Champions Week is one of the switches they had, so they flipped it. Reddit link. If there was a timer switch, they would have likely also utilized it. Reddit link. They're not trying to convey that changing the champion is a solution. It was one of the things they could do and didn't think it would hurt anything. Reddit link. I'm guessing this is about the public events.
Yeah.
This is all Seraph Tower related.
Yeah, they didn't specify that, so I think that.
Well, like you said at the beginning, that they amped up the difficulty specifically for this week, and then they realised what they'd done, and then they've now switched it back. And it was just a switch that they could switch on and off.
On sunsetting the weapons, more here. Here is the link. Pinnacles are legendaries and will share the same max power level lifespans based on when they were released. Reddit link. Okay. Damage has something he wants to say. Success isn't whether or not you complete the lie quest. It's how quickly you complete it. Wait. Hold on. So it doesn't matter whether or not you complete it. It's how fast you complete it that matters. Am I reading this right? Success isn't whether or not you complete the lie quest. It's how quickly you complete it. Okay. The point of this step wasn't to challenge the community to complete something, and if they didn't, they wouldn't get something. It was to rally everyone to a single event to kick off the lie. Feedback I'm seeing is as follows. Community events are cool, but they feel a bit too frequent at this point in time. I don't think that they're cool. I disagree. The current community event, well, at least the way Bungie does it, the current community event splits the population between 3 destinations. It would be nice to focus players more to a single activity or area.
Yeah.
Players would like to see more rewards that are exclusive to the event, which could drive participation. Whether they be tied to steps or general engagement with the activity, exclusive rewards for stuff like this is key to player excitement. The current goals were set far too high, which resulted in a lack of visible progress. As such, folks felt that their contribution had no meaning, and thus ditched the event pretty quickly. Who's that sound like?
Everyone.
I was going to say it sounds like the
like
Hunters doing
saying.
the Guardian games, yeah.
That too.
The current objective focuses on a public event that's been available since the launch of the season. Without new rewards or releases to visit the event, there's a bit of a burnout. Public area matchmaking can be frustrating when trying to find a space with enough players to attempt the event. I'm not going to touch I'm not going to touch on feedbacks that deals with spoilers just yet. This is a Reddit link. Hopefully that means you can matchmake into an area. That would be amazing. That'd be very amazing. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm tired. Coffee still hasn't hit yet. The team absolutely wants to make cool news. It actually says, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The team absolutely wants to make cool news, but also understands that players want to see things return. Finding the balance is key. Reddit link. Some weapons will be left to the sunset, while others will be reissued in future seasons. Reddit link. The team will indeed create new weapons and exciting loot to earn while filling other sources of loot with a mix of new and reissued gear. Damage would not look at reissued weapons as the main drive for future content drops, especially paid DLC seasons, which is what some replies on social media seem to fear. Also, I realize now that whenever I see DMG, I say damage, right? Because that's basically what it means in my view. But damage in the same sentence as a weapon probably leads people to the wrong idea. So it's not weapon damage. It's damage is talking about weapons. Okay. They have more on how sunsetting weapons will affect activities next week. Stay tuned. Here's a Reddit link. Pinnacles and pursuit weapons are legendary weapons. Why did you say the same thing twice? Thank you. They're watching the feedback of PvP folks when it comes to the weapon sunsetting. Trials, Iron Banner will be impacted, and you'll have to find new gear. Normal Crucible, however, will still have a home for your beloved Mountaintop, spare rations, etc. Give thoughts here. Oh my God, the Mountaintop!
Oh, you forgot about that one.
Oh God! Oh my God! My heart is broken. That is by far the heart. I have the freaking Luna's Howl, and by far Mountaintop was the harder legendary to get. Oh my God! Now my heart is broken. Ugh.
Yeah, I gave up on mine. I did the 2/3 of the thing, and I can't be bothered to do the rest of it.
Because it sucks. It's hard.
It's
so
hard.
if you've earned it,
yeah, it's
oh
hard.
My God!
It's just how to use it often.
It's not just a grenade launcher, Peroty. And if you had one, you wouldn't
my
be
world,
using it just a grenade launcher. Huh?
No, it doesn't matter that it's good. It's still a grenade launcher.
It's not just a grenade launcher. How dare you say that? Anyway, they're watching the feedback of PvP folks when it comes to weapon sunsetting. I already said that. Andrew Hops has this to say about weapon sunsetting and Destiny Roundup quotes. And I'm quoting here. You know how recluse on everything in PvE? Weapon sunsetting means we can add more weapons that on everything, and they just eventually fall behind in power. New weapons that on everything can be added without constant power creep, and I'm very excited for it. Twitter link. I like Andrew.
I'm surprised he didn't say I'm very excited for this.
And honestly, and I think that's the point of all of this is everyone says, "Oh, but the guns I had." Bungie's going, "Yeah, but we can give you better guns, bigger guns, guns that make people even angrier. But we can't keep doing that and keep every single weapon in all of time." So you think Mountaintop is powerful or Recluse. There's other stuff that's coming. There's other stuff they can do without having to think of every single decision you've ever made in your life or every game. So I'm really excited for this. I'd like to leave stuff behind and pick up new stuff, and still know that my trusty exotics will be there by my side.
I think the thing is, if this had been something that had been in Destiny 2 from the get-go, that we knew after like season 4 or towards the end of the first year that things would be sunsetted, it would kind of be ingrained in people now. This is how Destiny plays, how Destiny works. This is the way that it, the game is going to be going forward. It's a continuation from that thing in Destiny 1. But because they didn't do that and they went, everything is infusible going forward, they kind of, I think that's where they've made their mistake of, then they didn't tell people a lie, because I think that was the truth at that time. And the same with the Whisper of the Worm. It was made like that. It was put in the game like that because that's how they wanted it. And it wasn't until they suddenly went, power creep and all this other stuff, we made a mistake. We'll have to kind of go back on it. So that's where that's kind of come into it.
Yeah, it's easy to make decisions in the moment, but it's harder to say, okay, 2 years from now, 3 years, 4 years from now, is this decision we're making going to be a good one? What are we not thinking about? What are we not considering? And, oh, by the way, we're trying to build a game in a global pandemic, so that's fun. And I think now it's time for tips, tricks, builds, guides, videos. Nitedemon watches YouTube, so you don't have to.
He watches YouTube so he can give you the links so you can also go watch YouTube.
You know what?
But he does all the hard work of curation. I'm the facilitator, you're the curator.
To be honest, this week, most of the videos that I've watched are either review videos about what's happening next season or complaints about this season. There's not much. I mean, there are a few builds and things out there that are just kind of repeated from what have previously happened. And I think probably the best advice that I can give people at the moment is, if you're still enjoying the game and you're still logging on a day and doing things, maybe the best thing is to kind of just build up your reserves of your glimmer, your shards, your weapon parts. Do your nightfalls that you can farm
Your
with
infusion materials.
Yeah, just do infusion materials, and just don't infuse things if you don't have to. Just use what you've got and just build up a stockpile, because when it comes to next season, you want to kind of get a good stockpile of what you want going forward to infuse into that new stuff. And also the other thing is to remember bounties. Now, bounties help progress that season pass a lot quicker. And if you start this week coming up, stacking those bounties and completing them, just hold on to them until you get to that first day of the season pass, and then go onto your characters, turn all the bounties in. You'll get a big chunk of progression on that season pass, maybe get up to level 10, 15 within 10 minutes, so you've got a good bump or good, head start on everybody else. So that's another good thing to kind of do, or remember to do, is do the bounties as and when you can in the next couple of weeks, so they're not a grind, or you make it into a grind in that last couple of weeks going, oh my god, if I'd have remembered this 4 weeks ago, I could have just done a bounty and just held on to it. Because at the moment, you're now hopefully towards the end of your season pass, you're getting close to the 100, or you're past the 100. And if you're just playing the game regularly, you will get XP that will progress that pass, but holding on to those bounties will help you get a good step up in the next season. So yeah, it's just do the do the weekly stuff that you kind of need to do. So next week's going to be Gambit, where you can get more XP. So again, you should be able to get more stuff in Gambit. So go ahead and do that. Or, finish off some quests, finish off some triumphs. I think that's kind of the only thing I can think of, really. There was a Cheese Forever video that we will link about another Telesto glitch that you can use in PvE and PvP. And that's quite interesting. And Peroty, you linked a video this week from Cheese Forever, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell people about that?
Yes. I was watching this and I saw this link come across my screen and I'm going, what in the world is this? That I was like, someone has made a Destiny 2 RPG mobile game. I'm like, okay, that seems interesting. So I clicked the video and watched, and I realized our friend Cheese Forever has created this Destiny 2 mobile game. He has spent the last 6 minutes putting this game together, which of course heavily featured Telesto in his video, which is why I had to watch it, because who doesn't love a good Telesto? But yeah, he has put together this entire game that is sort of absurdly in depth, where there's all the parts of Destiny in there, and each sort of type of game is its own little mini game. That, I will be honest, I have not had the time to play this week, but just looking at the amount of work he's put into this is kind of phenomenal. So I'm going to guess, I know Respawn hasn't had a chance to play this because I know he didn't know about it.
I did know about it because he posted 30 links about it
There
that spanned across my whole freaking screen whenever I went to YouTube.
So the system works. All right, good. So yeah, no, I was curious. I want to play this at some point just to play with it and try it out. But that's just very cool that he's like, oh, this. I mean, I'm sure it didn't come out of nowhere for people who were maybe keeping up with such things. But for me, it was like, oh, this came out of nowhere and was very cool.
Yeah. Also, you said he worked on it for 6 minutes.
Months.
I think he worked on it for a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, no, it was 6 months. Sorry if I misspoke.
You did.
I did. So yes, he worked on this game for 6 months, not 6 minutes.
He can make his own changes. Telesto's broken. Goodbye, Telesto.
So yeah, we'll link that in the show notes for you to check out. It's quite interesting and fun. There was a Fallout Plays video this week, which he released, which goes over what can break a banner shield Titan. Another interesting video for you to watch. Not a kind of tip, tricks, or guides, but it's...
You don't need to. You just need to wait for them to trip over a tiny rock, and then there you go. Just shooting with sweet business. Wait until a tiny pebble comes across their path, and that's it. You're done.
What I thought was funny is the interaction between two banner shield Titans. I was like, what? You approach each other, and whichever one approaches first loses. It's like, how does the game determine that, man? Anyway,
rock, scissors.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. It's got to be. But no, that was pretty cool. I did enjoy seeing all the things that could break or not break the thing, So yeah, good on you, man. Good on you. And the swish bop is not something that I realized a lot of Titans utilize, and now I have to watch out for that. The swoosh bop, the swish boop, whatever he called it.
What are we talking about? Since I have not watched the video because drowning in work.
You'll have to watch the video.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll have to look the show.
He teaches you not only what breaks it, but the best way to utilize said super to ascertain victory in a lot of these outcomes. So
very good.
Are there any other videos that you've watched this week, Respawn, that you could highlight for the good listeners?
Well, yeah, I've actually watched quite a few. Let me go back and look at my subscriptions because I can't remember a whole lot of them.
Yeah, a couple times I pulled up YouTube just to sort of say, okay, let me see what my recommendations are or what's in the subscriptions. And like after the first, I don't know, like 8 or 9 moaning about the towers, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Clearly there's nothing happening this week anyone cares about. It's just
actually
about things.
Another video for you guys that haven't played D1, right? The reason we're all freaking out about Fellwinter's Lie and whatnot like that, the reasons behind it, Fallout actually has a video talking about how good will Fellwinter's Lie actually be, and he discusses why it was great and why this coming one is actually going to be better than the one that we know, right? So that's a good video to watch if you don't know what the Fellwinter's Lie is and why everybody's freaking out about it.
Good pick. Are there any other tips and tricks that you guys can think of going into a new season that maybe you could kind of start doing now?
I just reiterate what you said, man. As somebody that doesn't do Nightfalls, I have literally 0 infusion materials. I don't have any shards, and I think I have 1 golf ball. Okay? I don't have anything. So literally go out there and grind that stuff. I'm not a fan of Nightfalls, mostly because the teams I get are but do those. Because like me, I'm basically married to the gear that I have, which is why this upsets me the most, is because once I masterwork those, I was done. I didn't like grinding through the Nightfalls because of how rarely you get these drops. And once I got my stuff, I finished, and now I'm screwed. Right? So now I'm forced to go back, and I got to grind all this other stuff. So don't get caught out like I am. Do the Nightfalls, get your golf balls, get your shards. Make sure, like Demon said, you have enough stuff for the upcoming events or armors.
Yeah.
I think this is the point of the season where just stop infusing things, stop leveling things up. Anything you're getting, if it's good, hang on to it, but don't bother infusing. And sort of just hoard materials, and we're sort of at the point where finish up the thing you're trying to grind for. And also, it's finally getting warmer out. If you can, just go outside, step away from the game for a while. If it's getting to the point
Parody, blasphemous. Do not tell people to move away from the game.
Shame. 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 Shame.
No, people will come back. It's 2 weeks. They'll be back.
No. Do not listen to him.
I mean, I think it's pretty good advice, right? You've been inside for 2 months. Go outside, get some sun before you come back in, and
stay inside for another 2 months and play the game.
I mean, we're just at the point where just don't waste materials. Stop infusing things. Just hoard stuff, and then we'll see what the new redacted season has in store for us. It's over by the pretty things that are going away.
Does that bug anybody else? The fact that they keep putting redacted. I understand they're doing it to try to prevent spoilers, but it's just like, it's so old. Season of redacted Ingram, redacted this, redacted. You're not mysterious. You're not the FBI. You're not the CIA. You're not the KGB. Stop redacting stuff. It's not cute. It's not funny.
Listen, Bungie,
would you prefer not to tell us at all about anything?
I mean, it would be a surprise, right? If they're worried about spoilers, just
listen, Bungie. Keep it up. Yeah. Keep all the good redacted work up, because it's obviously upsetting Respawn, and I love it. Just keep it up.
If it's upsetting Respawn, you're doing good work.
We have another question from our little friend Cody.
Who is
Cody?
He is the Telesto.
What do y'all listen to while you're gaming? Your second favorite hunter and favorite using rifle, Cody or Telesto?
So what do we listen to while gaming?
We listen to the game, and only the game.
You're not wrong.
Does your wife playing Fallout 4 on the couch next to you count as what you listen to?
I guess it depends on what game I'm playing. If you're referring specifically to Destiny, I don't listen to anything. In fact, I even turn off the music within Destiny just so I can hear enemies and weapons firing.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I'm more focused on the game. When I've got the game on, it's just headphones in, focus on the game. If I'm away from the game, I'm listening to Destiny on other things, like podcasts. If I'm at work, I've got my earbuds in, I'm listening to Destiny podcasts. I'm listening to, Ebontis videos that explain stuff in great detail that I don't need to watch, but I can listen to on YouTube. Things like that. I soak up anything that's Destiny when I'm away from Destiny.
I sort of do a mix between those two. If I'm playing something like PvP that I sort of care about, I'll have the earbuds in, plugged in the controller so I can hear what's going on. So at least my TV is muted so I don't disturb anyone, but at least I can hear what's happening in the game. If I'm just, say, mindlessly grinding through strikes or just slaughtering people in Gambit or whatever, I'll put a podcast on. There's a bunch of Destiny podcasts, tech podcasts, and other stuff I listen to. I'll have one earbud in on the podcast, one earbud in so I can hear what's going on in the house and just turn my brain off and murder things. Destiny sound is only important if it needs to be.
Yeah. So even in PvP, you don't. I don't know. I guess it's maybe just me. I look for any kind of edge
see-
that I can get, including tune out music so I can hear other players walking around in PvP.
Well,
So
see,
hopefully they don't
See, the
sneak up
problem
behind
with how you play PvP is you look for people. The way I play PvP is
me. Just hold down the W key. Oh, damn it!
everyone's just dead.
You don't have a W key. Just hold down the sprint button and shotgun.
No,
Shoulder
not the sprint button. The walk forward very slowly button. Because if you sprint, you stop firing and then you're murdered.
Oh, you're the sweet business dude. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, again, like if I was playing, if I were playing something competitive, trials, whatever, or talking, and obviously if I'm talking to other people, I'm listening to those other people, not listening to anything else. But yeah, if I'm just playing the game solo, hanging out, 9 times out of 10, I've got a podcast going of some sort. Sometimes Destiny, sometimes not. Just depends on. I'm not gonna say there's such thing as too much Destiny at one time because Nitedemon will yell at me. But sometimes in Destiny, you get very confused. Like when you listen to yourself, remind yourself that Iron Banner is up this week, and you go, "Oh, thanks, me. Good work. Appreciate it."
Yeah. So I think that's it.
I guess so.
I think it is. So I think it's about that time to say, thank you, Respawn. Thank you, Nitedemon. Thank you, dear listeners, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for all the good listeners and all the good YouTube subscribers that we keep getting.
Yeah, thank you, lovely South Korea and Mexico who made the top slots in our little podcast listener country list this week. If you'd like to tell us things about the show, how we're wrong, how we're right, how we're blathering idiots who can't read the English language despite our country of origin, you can email the show at 2titansandahunter. That's TWOTITANSANDAHUNTER at hotmail.com, all spelled out. You can find the show on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. You can find us on Instagram at 2titansandahunter, where Nitedemon does lovely artwork for every show. You can find us on Facebook at 2titansandahunter. Join the Frozen Clan at join.frozen.party. That's Frozen with a 0. You can find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live, Respawn on PC, and if begged, maybe PS4. You can watch the show on YouTube, the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. And with that, Titans have throwing hammers, hunters have throwing knives, warlocks need throwing books. Gentlemen, tell the good people goodbye until next week.
Goodbye. Also,
Bye.
nice touch. He's throwing books.
Dope from Reddit.
Now this looks like a job for me. So everybody just follow me. Cause we need a little controversy. Cause it feels so empty without me.
Agreed. Absolutely
Your
agreed.
copyright claim. Here it comes. Not that we are monetized at all. So it's better.
Yeah. Also, on top of that, there was no music involved, and it was just somebody saying the words. I don't think you can copyright that.
Yeah.
Creative licensing and all that.
We'll
Also,
see.
it was under what? Under 10 seconds?
Those YouTube copyright
limit.
claim bots are pretty quick and pretty sneaky. So we'll see.
Yeah, but we're not on. Oh.
Oh, dear.